In this video, I'd like to look back at the advice Adrian gave you about tackling the writing task that is question 5 on paper 2. He suggested that you might use a 5-step structure like this to plan your piece of writing. We're going to actually look at a formal letter. It's a formal letter to a local councillor to persuade him to vote against a proposal to cut some funding to a local playgroup. We can use this structure to note the key ideas that will be in each of these 5 elements of the letter: the introduction, the 3 main paragraphs in the body of the letter, and the conclusion. So we can make a note of some key ideas in each of these stages. These ideas will make more sense to you when you've actually read the letter, but you'll see that in the introduction we introduce ourselves and the purpose for the letter. In the second paragraph we can make a note of the benefits for the children of coming along to the playgroup. We might begin to use some connectives like firstly. In the second paragraph we might begin that with secondly when we talk about the benefits for the parents. The third paragraph might look at the effects of closing the playgroup. And then finally we would make it clear in our concluding paragraph what it is we want the counsellor to do. So in using this 5-stage plan, use it principally to make a note of the key ideas in each stage of your piece of writing, and if you can, make a note of any useful vocabulary or ideas for language devices that you could use. You may want to make a note of the DeForest acronym that we looked at in the workshop, which reminds you of some of the key stylistic techniques that we could use. Let's have a quick look at the letter itself. And you can see here that because it's a formal letter, we need to quickly indicate that we're aware that it has a clear structure with the address in the right-hand corner there with the date. We have the address of the person to whom we're writing on the left-hand side. We've got a formal opening there. And then you can begin to see here some of the phrases that we need to use. I'm writing to voice our concern. I feel passionately fulfills a valuable role. So we've got a mix here of kind of quite formal language as well as some emotive language as well to give the letter a kind of a persuasive and a convincing tone. The first paragraph, we can begin that with a connective like firstly. You can see we've got a list of 3 there, and you can see 1 or 2 other bits of vocabulary that have a strong emotive tone, like dreadful sense of isolation. We've got another connective there in addition. So because it's a formal letter, we need to give it a clear structure and link our ideas. We can see at the beginning of the second paragraph we're using that connective secondly. Having made a general point, we then give an example. We've used another connective there as a result. So these connectives in the context of a formal letter can be very useful in creating a very clear sense of flow and logic. So we've got firstly, secondly, and then finally there at the beginning of the third paragraph. You'll see 1 or 2 other language devices as well. We see here in the context of the letter we could make up a statistic like 8% in terms of the unemployment rate. We've used a rhetorical question there. Would the counsellor really like to see that rate go up? So that's again an attempt to engage the counsellor. And then finally in our concluding paragraph, we're using again some formal language like I hope therefore, please do not hesitate. And then we've got a formal closure as well. So that's a quick look back at how we can use that 5-step structure to plan the letter. And you'll find there's a PDF version of the letter on the Padlet board, and when you open that up you'll find that there are some pop-up comment boxes which will highlight some of the key language devices that are used in that letter.